Hello students, today we will study about the contemporary South Asia. In this unit we will explore the different political setup of administration in the South Asian countries and a lot of complexities and militancy rule in Pakistan and democratic issues in Bangladesh. What is the issue in Nepal that transformed from the monarchy to a democratic government? What are the issue of what is the issue of Sri Lanka? So all these different issues in South Asian politics we will discover in this chapter, and we will try to understand what are the steps that transform these South Asian countries. So first we need to understand it, what are the names of the countries that come under the South Asia. So a lot of different country like India, Maldives, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So all these countries came under the South Asian countries. These are called South Asian countries, and a lot of turmoil for the political setup happened these South Asian countries. So what are the things that happen in South Asia, South Asia? Let's start with this definition of South Asia. As I told you, there are 8 total countries like Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. So these countries came together called South Asian country. Although they share culture and political relation were established between these countries. So these are the South Asian countries, and different all these belongs to the South Asian countries, but one different thing is that there was different political setups in these countries ranging from republics to monarchy, like republic government in India, whereas Nepal there was monarchy earlier. Democracy was established in Sri Lanka, but a lot of military rule in Pakistan. So there is a lot of different political setup in these South Asian countries. We will explore in this unit about these different political setups. So first we need to start with the Pakistan, the military and democracy in Pakistan. What was happening in that and how it's happened? You all know of General Ayub. After the constitution was adopted, General Ayub Khan took the administration, and later a lot of dissatisfaction led to the military takeover by the Yahya Khan. So under Yahya Khan, there was the first military rule happened in the Pakistan. During his tenure, Bangladesh issue was also emerged, because earlier Eastern Pakistan and Western Pakistan both are integrated, and during the Yahya Khan tenure, Indo-Pakistan war was started for the liberation of Bangladesh. So these all things was this important episode happened during the Yahya Khan tenure. What happened after him? There was an elected government after this military rule of Yahya Khan was established under the Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in 1971 to 1977. So this was the government of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, but later on it also replaced by the General Zia. What General Zia did, he started a pre-democratic movement in 1982. So later on this replaced by him, an elected government established later in 1988. So these are the sudden replacement of government from military to democracy and democracy to against military was happened there. Later under the Benazir Bhutto, Benazir party was very famous name is People's Party was there, and there was a tussle between the People's Party of Benazir Bhutto and Muslim League. That's also a very complicated issue. And when these conflict between the People's Party and Muslim League were going on after 1999, again the military stepped in and control over the Pakistan, and again the military rule established there. And the death of Benazir Bhutto, we all witnessed how she was died. So all these things led a lot of instability in Pakistan. General Pervez Musharraf removed and PM Nawaz Sharif from the government. In 2001, what happened? General Musharraf took elected as an president, and Pakistan continued to be ruled under the military power. So these all the things and these all the timeline that happened during that period, this political instability shows how the political setup in Pakistan always in a very shaky condition. There was no established government, or there was no one single prime minister who completed his 5 year of tenure. So all these things shows the how democratic condition in this Pakistan, and how military was in upper hand and tried to influence the whole Pakistan. So military rule was one of the very important challenge, and we can say for most challenge in front of the democratic government. So other things were also responsible for the establishment of military rule. First, the thing is the social dominance of military group also, because there was military rule has a social dominance also. And the second one is the clergy led owner, and all these things were there at the time, because India as a country, India abolished the zamindari system, but in Pakistan it's continued. So the continuation of zamindari also created a one new class. And later on, what happened? Overthrow of the elected government. So these landowner try to overthrow these elected government and try to to establish military rule. Or even those party who had a political party, these also mostly belongs to the upper class, or we can say zamindari. So there was always selfish minded parties. There was lack of general will for support of democracy rule in Pakistan. So these are the issue and a turmoil between the military and the democracy in Pakistan. Uh, so these dictators, or we can say these sort of military rule, not led the democracy to firm establishment in this Pakistan state. And in short, we can say that these military rule in the Pakistan also creating or helping to accelerate the terrorism in Pakistan. That's why S. Jaishankar openly says that Pakistan was a breeding ground of terrorism. And when after one of the very renowned terrorist Osama bin Laden was also found in Pakistan. So these things very tarnished, or these things very demean the image of Pakistan in front of whole world. So these are the things. These are the military and democracy issue of Pakistan. Now let's come to the next thing, the democracy in Bangladesh. So here is the flag of Bangladesh in the picture, where children waving the flag of Bangladesh. So how Bangladesh came into existence? We all know, in earlier slide also I have mentioned that it was earlier a part of Pakistan. So after the 1947 partition, the Eastern Pakistan and Western Pakistan, these two front was reunited called Pakistan. So the Eastern Pakistan represent today Bangladesh, and Western Pakistan is Pakistan only. So how these things, that Western Pakistan how turned into separate state Bangladesh? So for this matter, we first need to understand who is Mujibur Rahman. So Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was a one of the very known leader from the Awami League. Earlier, when Bangladesh was a part of Pakistan, so there was election was held, and that election, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman won all the seats in Eastern Pakistan. But the Western Pakistan aristocracy, or Western Pakistan politician, not wanted to form government with the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And later on, Yahya military rule came there, and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was arrested. So this led a lot of dissatisfaction in the Eastern Front, because already there was a lot of discrimination between the Eastern and Western people, because Bengali Muslim of these Eastern Pakistan were treated inferior and ill treated, and the imposition of their language, imposition of Urdu language on them, and Bengali was seen as an inferior, Bengali language was seen as an inferior, their culture seen as an inferiority with the inferiority. So all these things led to the insatisfaction or agitation against the central government, or Pakistan government. So, but later on, when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was not allowed to be part in the parliament proceeding and he was arrested, then Yahya General Yahya Khan taken over the administration, and military rule was imposed in the Pakistan, and the suppression of mass movement of Bangladeshi people was started, or Bengali people we can say was started. And it was a very massacre movement, because a lot of thousands of Bengali Muslim were killed at that time. Most of in the fear of assassination, a lot of Muslim migrated to India. So it's also led to the refuge problem in India. So this was the one issue that started. And later on, during Indira Gandhi phase, India involved in this, and leads to the India Pakistan war of 1971. And that's led to the later on, when Pakistan army was surrendered in 1971, Bangladesh was became an independent state, or Bangladesh became a separate sovereign country. So that's how Bangladesh came into the picture. Later on, what happened after 1971 war? In 1975, Bangladesh adopted a constitution. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was very popular, so he from the parliamentary, so the thing was changed, and parliamentary to the presidential form of government was adopted in Bangladesh. But there was some sort of authoritarian started emerging during the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman phase, because he adopted a presidential model, and later on other party system was declined, and only Awami League was allowed to contest election. So these things led to the conflict, and later on assassination of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in 1975. And with these incidents, a new military rule war led by the General H.M. Irshad was imposed in Bangladesh. But because the idea of Bangladesh was pro-democracy, and people involved for this in Bangladesh, who wanted to a pro democracy, not a military rule. So a lot of mass agitation was started. Or students were in the forefront against this agitation. So later on, Irshad became a president, but later on he stepped down in 1990, and later on in 1991, free and fair election was happened. And from that 1991 even till today, there was a multi-party system in Bangladesh, and that's how a democratic government established in the Bangladesh. So these are the things in Bangladesh, how Bangladesh came into the picture, and how after the uh, political protest, or we can say a popular protest, a democracy was established in the Bangladesh. So these are the things that happened at that time. Now let's come to the next slide. The monarchy and democracy in Nepal. So, as you all know, Nepal is one of our very favorite neighboring country. We had a roti and beti rishta with the Nepal. So, what does it mean? Roti beti rishta means that we used to do marriages, and we used to do employment with each other. So that's why we call it beti roti rishta. So what is the monarchy and democracy in what is the monarchy and democracy issue in Bengal? So firstly, we all know monarchy was a Hindu king used to rule Nepal. But later on, a lot of new democratic movement was started, and a democratic constitution was accepted by the Hindu ruler. But it was a limited democracy. We can say a limited form of democracy. But later on, a lot of Maoist insurgency was also started, because it's so close to China, and Maoism was spreading its ideology, even though even in India also. So Nepal was also influenced by the Maoist issue. So what Maoist ideologies, they wanted to believe in armed insurgents against the king and the elected government. So it's led to the triangular conflict between the Maoist leaders and the king, and some of the pro-democratic group who wanted to establish a free and fair democracy in the Nepal. So these triangle people came together, and a sort of triangle conflict was started. And later on, when this Maoist insurgency was on high pace, in 2002, King abolished this parliament and demised the government, and it did this limited democracy in Nepal. Later on, in April 2006, a lot of massive country protest for the democracy was started, and this forced king to accept the democratic model for the country. So what happened in 2006? Alliance of seven, we can say a non-violent seven party alliances was started, and they wanted to establish a different form of government. Some wanted to have a limited government, some wanted to have limited king representation, some wanted Maoist wanted a constitution with the radical program. So these all things was started at the time, but these alliances at last established a democratic republic, and a new constitution was framed after that. So this is how democracy was established, and the House of Representative that was abolished in 2002, now restored in 2006. So this marks the journey of Nepal from a monarchy state, a Hindu monarchy state, and later on transformed into a democratic state in 2006. But a lots of upheaval was happened in Nepal. A lot of things was there, a lot of political struggle was there, but this is how they just completed half of their journey with the establishing a democratic government or a representative government in the Nepal. So this is the journey of how Nepal established a democratic government there. Now let's come to the next slide. Ethnic conflict and democracy in Sri Lanka. So what is that? What is the ethnic conflict? So in Sri Lanka, there was no issue of military rule or a democratic crisis. In Sri Lanka, there was an issue of ethnic conflict. What does it ethnic conflict means? Ethnic conflict means Sri Lanka had two different population. One is majority Sinhalese, who are the origin, or who are the native of the Sri Lanka, and the second one group is Tamilians. These Tamil migrated from the India to live in Sri Lanka. So there is a lot of struggle, or a lot of tussle between the Sinhalese and Tamilians. This Sinhalese group not wanted to give concern to the Tamil people, and even they used to say that Sri Lanka is only for Sinhalese. So these are different, and Tamilian on other hand want some form of welfare or the reservation or separate identification in the Sri Lanka, because they are in minority and they are facing discrimination, and they wanted some sort of special rights. So these are things when these Tamilian groups were unsatisfied with the government. So this led to the militancy in 1983. So a lot of militant activity was started, and one of the very, very famous organization, we all know that full form is Liberation Tigers of Tamil Elam. So what these wanted? This Litte group fighting for an armed struggle against the Sri Lanka army. So what their demand, they wanted a Tamil Elam or a separate country for Tamil people. So this led a lot of pressure on the government of Sri Lanka and India also, because a lot of pressure in India also to save these Tamilian people, because in this conflict both were losing their men and material. So from the South India, India had a pressure to save these Tamil people. So India signed an accord with the Sri Lanka and sent troops to Sri Lanka for these fights. But the sending of troops from India seen as an interference for the Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka did not like it much. But and it's seen as an internal interference from the another country. So India peacekeeping forces pulled out of the Sri Lanka, and even though when these troops from the India were supplied to there, so a lot of people were killed in this. Even Tamilian people blame that Indian government not done anything good for their cause. So a lot of unsatisfaction from the Tamilian side also, and from the Sri Lankan side also. So later on, this was became one of the reason that later on Rajiv Gandhi was killed by these Litte group. These Litte group was involved in this killing when he went to the Tamil Nadu for an election campaign. So he was killed by these Tamil Liberation Tigers of Tamil Elam people. So these things was happened during this that time period. But later on, after this thing done, Sri Lanka economy was booming because Sri Lanka has a coastal economy. A lot of tourism was happening in Sri Lanka. So post war transition, Sri Lanka economy was emerging. It was not in a declining side. So that's how this ethnic conflict seen in the Sri Lanka, and it's also impacted the India also. So these are the famous important things that happened during that time period. Now next thing that happened is India and Pakistan conflicts. A very famous conflict between these two countries. What happened with the India and Pakistan? We all know, we all even earlier slides also, in earlier classes also, I mentioned that the Kashmir was a disputed territory, because even from 1947, since the partition happened, a lot of proxy war happened between these two countries. Claim over the Kashmir led to the division of Kashmir, one part with India and one part line of control divided Kashmir, and one part left with the Pakistan, that is called Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So even after the this POK and all these things happened, India not able to safeguard these region, or not able to solve the issue of Kashmir. Even UN was not done anything for the this region. Kashmir issue remained the same in the international platform also. So even though after the winning one war with the Pakistan, there's a lot of other issues also started. We had a different issue in Siachen Glacier war issue, a lot of a lot of issue on the different front, like service intelligence alleged that a lot of in India, against the India, a lot of spying was happened. So there was, both were very suspicious to each other. So a lot of different issue in the both front. And another issue of the water resources, because Indus River was a vital source of water between both India and Pakistan. So the territory of Indus River, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beach, Satluj, so all these river was divided between the India and Pakistan through a water treaty called Indus Water Treaty, that happened with the help of World Bank in 1960. So it was one of the successful treaty between the India and Pakistan happened, but still the issue, a lot of issue with this treaty was also there. Even today, a lot of issue was remain. So that's how these things will happen. And the next thing is the nuclear weapon war. What is that? The nuclear weapon, because both India and Pakistan have had nuclear weapon now. How this happened? Because firstly, after the China testing its nuclear weapon in 1968, India also went for the nuclear test in Pokhran region. And reaction to it, Pakistan in Shanghai Hills also started a nuclear testing, and both are very suspicious to each other. So that's how this led to a danger of nuclear war also. So these are the things that happen in India and Pakistan. And when Pakistan was not able to defeat India in front war, so a new strategy was adopted by the Pakistan, is that proxy war or insurgency or smuggling issue, and Jammu Kashmir militancy that happened in 1980s or 1970 was also one of the strategy of Pakistan to weaken India. So, and one famous quote, that bleed India with thousand cuts, given by the Pakistan, that they wanted to grow unsatisfaction in the Kashmiri people against the country. And these Pakistani group also added the pro Khalistani movement. This pro Khalistani movement, I hope you still remembered, let's the Pakistan separatist movement. So they wanted to divide country into a small group. So these things were very emerging issue in the country, in the South Asian region. So these all things were in the Indo-Pakistan conflict. In earlier classes also, in details we have covered the Kashmir issue. So that's why here I am not mentioning in very detail what happened in India-Pakistan war in 1971 and all that things. So these are the conflict issues on India and Pakistan. Now let's come to the India's and its neighbor relations. First thing is the difference. So as we all discussed how there was such difference was started between India and Pakistan. A lot of neighboring issues, not only with Pakistan, a lot of river issue with Bangladesh also we had, because in the sharing water of Ganga and Brahmaputra, a lot of issue. Another very famous issue is Rohingya Muslim, or they are coming towards the India without any authority. So these are creating an internal security issue in India. From Nepal side, India has an insurgency, black marketing issue, and Maoist group also trying to infiltrate or trafficking, drug selling. So these are the issue was also there. And with Maldives also, even we had a good economic relation earlier, because India we helped a lot Maldives as an island country for its economic development, but now relation between India and Maldives was not so good. So there is a lot of issue with these all countries. And Sri Lanka, even though India and Sri Lanka had good relation, but during that period of uh, Lite group, or the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, created a lot of chaos between the relations also. So all these things was happened, and a lot of differences were created between these country and between India and its neighboring countries. But even though with these differences, a lot of platform was there for their meetings or for their cooperation. And one very important cooperation was, we all know, SARC. What is SARC? SARC is a platform for South Asian states and states cooperation. So this began in 1985. So this SARC countries signed their South Asian Trade Free Trade. This is called SAFTA in 2004, that came into existence in 2006. So on the SARC platform, different neighboring countries of India came together to discuss all these issue, like where if there are any disputes, or if there are any differences, what the water issue happened between India and Bangladesh. So this platform provides uh, a presence for both of these countries to solve their internal issue, or through the cooperation they could give economic benefits to each other. So all these things led to the a lot of cooperation also between these countries. And because all these countries are neighboring countries living together in same chunk of area, so a lot of economic interdependence was also between these countries. And a lot of trade agreement, infrastructure development was happened between these South Asian countries. Even though a lot of hydrological projects between India and Nepal we share for the power plants also. And a lot of India and Bangladesh work together for a lot of rail transport issues, or a lot of infrastructure. India given a lot of infrastructure supports to Bangladesh, or for its democratic establishment. So these all the things that India cooperated with the different South Asian countries. Now let's come to the next slide. So all these this is all in this unit. These are the MCQ that I have framed. So you need to solve this MCQ, like SARC, South Asian Free Trade Agreement, was signed, came into effect in which year. So mostly what you need to do, you need to learn the facts or timeline of the different incidents. Maybe things came in the examination to form in a chronological order, or which things happen in which year. So maybe this question, even they can give you the different countries name, and maybe give you example which country is not in the South Asian countries. So maybe these sorts of question may be asking the question. So these are the MCQ based question. Some of these are previous year question also. So from these question you can understand the how question going to become. Like in 3 number question, arrange the following into the chronological order: end of civil war in Sri Lanka, creation of Bangladesh, Nepal, Democratic Republic, India conducted its nuclear explosion. So this how you can see these sorts of question used to come in the exam, and now other next year also this sort of question is going to come. So these are the question you should practice for your better preparation. Even you can prepare for the NCRT also. For you can try to give as much as mock test so that you can understand this exam preparation, or you can say where you are lacking. Although I covered most of the topics, there is nothing left. I don't think so anything left. These are the main issue in the South Asian country. So I hope you have understood all this topic. We will see you in the next classes.